Welcome to Soul Food Sunday. And here you have your favorite host, this is Korea and Rhea, if you love me. And I have somebody really, really special today. I know I say that every week, but everybody's special, right? So I have Chris Hudson, the owner of Life Journey. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Key? How you doing?
I am great. I am great. Tell the people who you are, what you do, and who is Chris?
Yeah, so my name is Chris Hudson. I'm from Lexington, Kentucky originally. Moved down to Atlanta, Georgia. I started my brand called Life's Journey Clothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an inspirational clothing line that I created to kind of focus on telling stories through clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I started that now. I've been doing it for about a decade
Wow.
now, but I've been actually 3.5 years full time with it.
Okay.
So very thankful for the journey and where it's brought me to. But yeah, just me. I'm an all around good guy. I'm a humble guy. Great to be around. I love family. I'm a father. And I just want everybody around me to do great in life.
Okay, okay. I'm from Cleveland, so Kentucky's not too far from Cleveland. We're from Ohio,
Yeah,
rather.
yeah,
I,
it's not too far. About 6 hours, I think.
right, 6 hours. What they well, depends on if you like to drive, you know.
For
But
sure, for sure. Yeah.
let me ask you.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you've been full time for the last 3 years. So that
Yeah.
means the first 7 years. What did that journey look like for you?
Yeah, that journey was interesting. So my daddy had a cleaning service, lead janitorial service. So I worked with him pretty much kind of part-time, full-time a little bit, just helping every day with cleaning the business. And he had accounts with residential as well as commercial.
Yeah.
So I really gained like a lot from him. And then after that, I transitioned into the banking industry where I worked for PNC Bank for the
Mhm.
last 6 years.
Wow.
So I started off as a part-time teller, worked my way up to full-time teller. Then I transferred to Georgia, where I was a universal banker. Did that role for about a year and a half, and then I started getting out a little bit more, where I would go out to businesses and speak to them about PNC banking and
Mhm.
the benefits of banking. So been in that financial space for the last 6.5 years, and then one day I just decided to just bet on myself. There was a particular position I was going up for.
Mhm.
They kind of promised it to me. However, they had someone else that backdoored me. So I just remember being in that space, and one of the ladies, she said, Chris, as I was waiting to see if I got the position or not, she said, Chris, sometimes if you get what you want, it's a good thing.
Mhm.
And if you don't get what you want, it's still a good thing.
Mm.
And that advice really just kind of stuck with me. And
Yeah.
I just prayed about it, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna take the leap and left the job and ain't looked back since.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
dope. Um, what did you learn? Because now we're talking about as I'm listening to your journey, you were going out to different businesses, obviously almost doing like sales, kind of like, right?
Sure. Yep.
And so what did you learn during that time that you were able to apply to where you are right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, it's kind of twofold. So PNC had a partnership with the call center. So literally they would kind of have like high turnover at the call center. So I would literally have to go there and present to a group of 100 to 300 people, about the benefits of PNC.
Right.
So that really helped me get out of my shell, out of my comfort zone, from talking to
Mm,
people one-on-one, presenting to people, and just really focusing on showing the benefits of this company. And then from the other perspective, actually going out to businesses, that just taught me like, hey, if I'm spending this time going out to bring in business for this company, I could do the same.
right.
However, I want to make sure that while I'm in this position, I want to be able to serve PNC 100%
Mhm.
because I know that when I do leave this company, I want whoever is going to be an employee of Life's Journey to give that same work ethic, right? That same effort.
Man,
Um,
that'll make you work hard for somebody else, won't it? Just
definitely,
that
no, it definitely
perspective.
will. It definitely will, and it gives you a lot, and really like it taught me to not take no for an answer.
Hmm.
It allowed me to kind of get in and build relationships with some of the workers, some of the key people, and it just showed me that sometimes it's I looked at it from this perspective. Relationships first, business second. So of course you're not going to go in and get the business right off the bat.
Right.
Be able to kind of go in and build those relationships, and as long as you stay in tune with those relationships, the business will follow. So
For
that
sure.
taught me a lot with that process.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, how have relationships leveraged your business and where you are?
Relationship has been my currency. I think just been able to have relationships with the consumer side, with customers that
Mhm.
truly believe in life's journey. Like that's been a huge blessing because every time I drop something new or have something coming out, they're always on top of it. They always buy something.
Mhm.
But not only are they doing that, they're spreading the awareness of the brand because of their relationship that they have with me,
Yeah.
relationships that I have with other people, and from the business standpoint,
Yeah.
that's been helping me grow too in terms of just getting my brand more product placement, just more awareness, and just certain doors that I probably wouldn't be able to access on my own.
Mhm.
Not saying that I couldn't access it on my own, but it could take a little bit longer. But just being able to have those relationships of people that truly and genuinely believe in what you do,
Yeah.
that's been like a good leverage for my brand and for myself personally because it's
Right.
been helping me grow and elevate, over the years.
Wow. Has there been any one or two particular relationships that you're like, yo, these particular relationships really took me through the roof, and how did you kind of like go about nurturing the relationships, or people that you knew that you saw like, I want to work with this person, and how can I go about working with this person, and you got them.
That's a great question. I'm trying to see if I've actually experienced that moment. Wow, that's a great question. I know I'm working on this big project right now, and
Okay.
it'll be a global project, and
Wow.
I'm actually in a
Global.
relationship with yeah, I'm actually in cahoots with this guy, so I'm hoping that the relationship that me and him has built over the years, is he's able to kind of tie in the
Okay.
key person. So I think once he ties in this, we'll be able to get the deal done, and then to
Okay.
be like a global deal. So I'm praying on that. So we're just trying to work on that. But from that standpoint, I don't know if I've actually. I'm sure I have, but
Mm.
nothing that really comes
That
to mind
sticks
right
out.
off the top
Okay.
of my head.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
When did your passion for fashion begin?
Man, that's a great question. I started, so I've always, I've always loved fashion.
Uh-huh.
I think it was more so transitioning out of high school, and then I went to a community college,
Okay.
and just really just trying to find my way in life.
Okay.
Uh, I've always like tried to stay fly. I've always was kind of on top of things, but I've always loved trying to wear new things. So
Mhm.
when I did do that, of course, like the homies like, bro, what you got on? What you wearing? Like
Right.
people weren't really in tune with that. But I think just me just staying true to myself allowed me to kind of get outside of my shell, and just wanted to always be fly. I would always crease my pants, you know what I mean? Put the
Okay.
scarf on, you know what I mean? So I always did that because I've always loved my appearance.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, so I just like for me, I would say at the really since I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, a toddler.
Okay.
But I think the main passion started when I was transitioning and through community college, and
Mhm.
that's when I just found myself like, yo, what do I want to do with my life? And that's
Yeah.
when I kind of prayed about it, and I asked God like, hey, I love fashion,
Mhm.
I love people.
Mhm.
How can I take the two and merge them together? And then just through constant prayer, like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, like he just hit me with the name Life's Journey.
Wow. So, how has your faith and your relationship with God, how important has that been in regards to the longevity and you being able to sustain and your resiliency in business?
Yeah, I would say God is the center.
Mhm.
He's been the focus, I think, to definitely elevate me to stay consistent. Because many a times, you can get discouraged along the journey because you see people kind of come into the fashion lane. They stay in it for a while and then they get out, but then might see some people come into the game and they blow up.
Mhm.
And me, I haven't had that moment to where I actually took off with it, but
Yeah.
I think for me, knowing that I've created something that is bigger than me has allowed me to keep pushing.
Mhm.
To know that when people wear Life's Journey, it strikes as a conversational tool.
Right.
Like, people tell me, hey, I wore the Keep Planting Seed shirt. I went to this conference. And for me wearing this shirt, I had a conversation with someone else, which then led me to sell some of my products and build a relationship
That's
all through,
powerful.
a t-shirt. So I look at it from that standpoint that I'm just a vessel carrying out the vision,
Mm.
and it's been really been able to kind of have that relationship with God has really just kept me humble and kept me grounded.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that because, like I said, it's easy to get off track, and I have got off track a few times. You know what I mean? But just being able to be consistent and knowing that it's going to work out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. What is one time where you, one of those seasons that you went through, you were extremely discouraged, or things did not look like it was going to pan out?
Yeah, I think, man, I've actually had a few of those moments, to be honest with
That's
you.
normal.
I had a few of those moments, and I think sometimes they creep in every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that's good because when you have those problems, that's where that breakthrough or that solution comes out of that, right? But I think when I was just out in LA, because I transitioned after I left PNC, I moved out to LA
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years, and I just felt with me going out to LA that I thought things were going to take off drastically, and
Yeah.
it did. You know what I mean? So it was just like, wow, like there were people, back at home, like, oh, he's doing it big, moved out to LA, like things
Right.
going to take off,
Right.
and he's been doing this for a while, like why ain't he hit this level? So I think just hearing that and allowing that to kind of get in my ear kind of put me in a space where I was just like, man, is this really what I'm supposed to do? So I
Mm.
was in that season for a while. So the interesting things about seasons is that you would go through them, but it's up to you to get out of it because what happens is that season or those days or weeks or whatever you may be in, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't snap out of it, sometimes that can be years that you can stay stuck.
Listen.
Years, you feel me? Um, so it's very key that you understand, okay, this is a particular moment that I'm in.
Mm.
Maybe I'm supposed to feel this way for a few days, or this day, or maybe a week. But if you allow that to go into several weeks and then it
Right.
transitions to months and then
Right.
it's the years and then next thing you know, you look back and you stayed stuck in this one position because you didn't recognize the season. Like there was a small lesson that you just had to learn, but you stayed stuck.
Mm.
So for me, you know what I mean? Like I had to get my mind out of that so I didn't stay stuck. You feel me?
Right.
So
Absolutely. Ooh, that's so good.
mhm.
We'll have to talk offline, but that's so good.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that-
but okay. And so when you find yourself in those moments, or
mhm.
when those moments had happened, what was your transition moment like? Do you just, like you said, do you say, okay, this is the moment and I'm gone, or this is like, is there like a aha moment? Is there a person that you typically lean on? Or is it, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think it's going back to remembering why you started. You know what I'm saying? It's just that key. I think looking at my family, my son, um, is interesting because every time that I felt that moment, I would always get whether it be a message, email, phone call. Chris, I just want to tell you, man, you inspired me so much to keep going. And this is why I did this, or I just want to let you know I wore your shirt today, and people love. It was always
Wow.
confirmation from that. So that just allowed me to know, like, you know what, snap out of it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, you really have something, that the people need. And yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy how God works. Like, I
Yeah.
always would see that.
So basically, God will always send a reminder.
He would always send a reminder. Yep,
God
you're
will
right
always
about
send
that.
a reminder.
Yep.
Okay. What does entrepreneurship mean to you? What does it
Mm.
mean to Chris?
To me, it means walking in purpose in a
Mhm.
sense. Um, but it's also, for me, taking an idea and being able to create something
Mhm.
that can multiply not only for yourself but for your bloodline. Um, but it can also, it's a relentless grind. It's
Mhm.
a hustle. It's truly betting on yourself. That's what
Mhm.
entrepreneurship is to me. Like betting on yourself. Like having something that you say you want to do, sticking it through,
Mhm.
no matter what obstacles, no matter what peaks and valleys you go through,
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to keep pushing. And like, that's what it's been for me. It's just been peaks and valleys. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like one day up, next day you're down. You know what I'm saying? It's a constant ongoing thing.
Now, we just came out of 2020.
Yeah.
2020 was a very colorful year, as I like to say.
Yeah.
What did the pandemic teach you, especially when it comes to business? Like, what did it teach you?
Man, stay ready so you don't get ready. So you don't have to get ready. You know what I mean? Stay ready at all times. Like, yo, like I've been working on a mobile boutique truck and we
Right.
finally finished it. We was gonna get
Oh,
it wrapped.
congrats.
And then like the pandemic happened and I'm like, oh crap, like I was planning on touring, taking the truck on the road,
Yeah.
the brand. But then that happened. And I was discouraged because I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I don't have the outlet to kind of get out here grassroots with the brand. But then like I started running ads. I met this guy, Chris Lewis, and
Mhm.
met him connected, via social media, and we started running ads, and literally the brand grew like crazy, like
Really?
110%. Like I mean, it's been crazy. So it just taught me to explore different avenues as
Mhm.
opposed to staying in one direction, but just really utilizing every opportunity, you know what I'm saying, that not only comes your way, but sometimes you have to create those opportunities. So
Mhm.
that's what that pandemic really taught me is just like, you know what, even though it's been a tough season for a lot of people, it's also been harvest season for others.
For a
You know what
lot
I
of
mean?
people, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Making decisions. How
Hmm.
easy is that typically for you?
Oh my gosh. um,
Do you like to make decisions?
sometimes I don't. Sometimes it gets. I think with me, it just depends on the space that I'm in. Sometimes I could be all over the place, so I'm trying to like tune in
Yeah,
and just relax. So shout
right.
out to Connie with the systems. Connie as Files.
For sure. That's
Yeah,
the system queen.
she's really helped me with my systems and things like that. But as far as decision making, I'm kind of like 50-50, you know what I mean? Like there's sometimes I go through with things, sometimes, I don't, but it really all boils down to discipline, for
Mhm.
me, you know what I mean? And just really
Yeah.
staying disciplined to make that decision.
How did you develop it? Discipline.
I think learning to develop patience, um, that's been kind of,
I
that's been
know
tough
that
for me,
because that's
but, but just learning that, sometimes in life, you can't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence. So sometimes,
Mhm.
when you thinking about this decision, you got to think things through. And
Right.
even in terms of being disciplined, it's just like sometimes you just got to let things flow. You know what I
Right.
mean? Instead of just getting out and just rushing it. So that's been like the key thing, just setting back sometimes
Mhm.
and knowing that I'm in control. God's in control, but I'm in control of making sure I make the right choice.
Right choice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
One of the things
What about you?
that, what was you about to say?
What I said? What about you?
What about me?
Yeah.
Oh, do I like? Yes, I am very decisive.
Okay.
So when it comes to me, I'm extremely decisive. Where the detriment in that case though is that sometimes I can make decisions too quickly
Mm,
without completely thinking them through. So then I'm
mm,
having to go back and retrace a lot of steps, right?
yes.
So so that's something that, although I'm a very patient person, I'm extremely patient, but at the same time, but when I know like I really want something, so one of the things that I use particularly now is when I'm ready to make a decision or a big decision. Like for example, I did a no spend January, right? So
Okay.
and this was to incorporate discipline, literally, and
Mhm.
so and I've been trying to do this for the last 2 years, okay,
Mm,
and I've never been able to do it. So this year, an opportunity came where I was doing really, really good during the month of January, and it was a conference that I have been in, a person I've been wanting to work with for a long time. And this opportunity came, and I was like, I'm doing a no spend January.
right.
So what I had to do, I had to pray
Yep.
first.
Yep.
Then after I prayed, then I had to go against what were my values? Where do I want to
Mm,
be? Is this aligned to that? So I literally had to break my no spend January just for that thing. But it was okay in that it's okay now. It was okay in that moment, because I did take time and did completely opposite of what I would normally do,
mm,
right? Which is just quickly make a decision because that's what I want in that moment,
yes.
instead of
Yes.
taking my time and really allowing God and align and pinpointing what my values are, what my goals are, and making sure that, okay, is this really what I want,
That
right?
part.
And then essentially betting on myself at the end of the day. So That's Korea.
Yeah, yeah. That's what's up, though.
That's Korea.
Yeah,
So yes,
definitely.
I'm right there with you in regards to, that whole discipline,
Yeah,
making decisions, especially when you were talking about when you were saying how you can sometimes find yourself in a season for way
yes,
too long, right?
yes,
And so I've definitely experienced that and know what that feels like. And so sometimes you have to go. Matter of fact, I had a friend just yesterday text me because I'm still kind of like taking things out of my life in this
yeah,
right now. And so she was like, are you sure like all this is okay? And I'm like, it has to be. I have
yeah,
to go drastic now to this point because there have been so many times where I gave myself too many leeways because of this, because of that. So in order for me to really get to where I want to get to, this is what I need to do.
definitely.
And so and you have to be okay with that. It's temporary. It's temporary. So
Yeah, it definitely is. You know what I mean? It's
uh,
definitely temporary.
so one of the last questions I did want to ask, because
Mhm.
I've watched, like I said, I've watched your journey for quite some time. One of the beautiful things that stuck out to me one day, you had shown how your original logo for Life
Yeah,
Journey was, and then how it evolved over time,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so talk to me about like what that initial journey was like, kind of like or especially talk to the aspiring entrepreneur that thinks that they have to get everything perfect
yeah,
before getting started, or like what how the transition happens, and it's okay to like just go for it,
yeah, yeah.
and all of that.
Definitely not. You know, I always tell people, like, I think Nipsey said it best, man. It's a marathon. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I always tell people that one of the phrases that I put on the hoodie too is a constant reminder and daily reminder, not only for entrepreneurs but for people as well, is that we all start somewhere. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And I think sometimes you come in whatever field that may be, you just want to take off quick, right?
right.
But through that transition, you're gonna miss a few steps.
Mhm.
So I always just encourage people, just start where you're at. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have the perfect logo, like as you've seen, like the logo was, but my guy had on some
I
boots.
mean,
Yeah,
he came. He got a backpack.
yeah,
I'm talking about. If what would be so dope though, not to cut you off, what
sure.
would be so dope is that how you had like the different pictures to
Yes.
almost get that animated in like a
Wow.
real life animation for for an ad, right?
Yeah.
So that would be like life's journey, literally. So
Yes.
you would take and you can get somebody to do that animation stuff. So, you would take it from the original logo to where how it kind of like, how it moves or
How
whatever.
it evolves. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. And you
know?
can
Yeah, yeah,
actually pull that.
yeah.
Oh, this is what I do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. No, I like that. That's definitely dope too, and I think that would resonate with a lot of people. For sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially as we're transitioning now into the
Yes.
new year and things like that. So that might be a dope campaign you can do.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No, I
see you.
appreciate
I see
that.
you my PayPal invoice.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that, Jim. That's a good one. Right. But no, I think just along the lines of just just starting where you're at,
Right.
building what you have, um, build your core base. And like I had this phrase that I tell like a lot of entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
start local, finish global.
Mm.
Start building your local communities, build within your establishment, build within your city, wherever you're from. Make them believers first.
Right.
Once you get them to believe in what you have, then you focus on branching out and going global.
Right.
And that's been like
Why
the
is that important though?
because it's very important because your local consumer base is everything, because the people who start with your journeys are the ones going to elevate you.
Mm.
I always tell people when I go to when you're building a brand, let's say for instance you're in an arena,
Mhm.
because people always ask me like, you should charge high, you should charge this price, that price. Well, I look at it from me being in an arena. Let's say it's 17,000 people in there, right?
Right.
I want to sell to the 16,000 people. I don't want to sell to just 1,000 VIP. You know what I mean? Because I know the 16,000 people is going to tell mom about the brand. They're going to tell sister, auntie, cousin,
Mhm.
whatever. And then where I'm so personal and I'm so hands on with my brand, I've been able to build relationships with people so they take a liking to me, right? I show interest in them and what they have going on. And then next thing I know, they put their kids onto the brand. When their kids get teenagers or older, they buy from the brand. So I've seen that because of the relationships that I've leveraged from a local level. And building local has given me, the platform to be able to expand my brand outside of, the local space, So that's very, very key, because you have it, sometimes people come in the game, they don't build a local audience. They just go straight to,
Right. They want to get the influencers off bat.
exactly. And that's crazy because, most of the times, like, let's say, for instance, if there's a person of influence, or let's say there's certain deals that, you may want to do, or certain activations, or you might do a collab with a bigger company. And let's say you want to do it back at the crib, but if you don't have that following back at home, you haven't built or leveraged those relationships, then, you kind of missing out in that space. So I think it's very key to kind of really focus on that core audience, and that's, your local audience, and then build it from there.
And even too, I would think, like, are you able to sustain? Like, if you hit that big person, or whatever the case may be, are you really ready for what could necessarily bring? One of the beautiful things that, like I said, I do watch your journey, that you've now started developing other businesses on top of what you're doing, and how important is that? And, in regards to, once you starting one thing, kind of like start developing other things outside of that.
Yeah, I think it's key because it gives you another revenue stream. I think because sometimes, with anything, certain things may, slow down. We all have those moments where things slow down, and you're able to kind of tap into something else. But I think for me, what's been very key is that me personally, I try not to get into too many industries that I don't really have an understanding of or any knowledge around. So if I'm gonna build in this clothing space, I'm gonna go out and purchase a screen printing machine, which we did. We cut out the middleman, print and press our own shirts. Not only did we do that, we was able to also print for other businesses, which then brought in other streams of revenue, right?
Okay.
I can write an ebook because people hit me up all the time about starting their own brand. So that's another stream of income, but it's all still within that same umbrella of that. We're starting this junk removal company that we've been working on, trying to build the right infrastructure for that, but it's still going to tie into the brand because it's like we serve. So basically it's going to be community oriented a little bit, but that's an industry that I went out and I seek someone that has experience in it. They have expertise. They work for 1-800-JUNK for numerous of years. They know the brand. They know how it is. So like for me, it's good because I'm tapping into a space that I may not be all the familiar with, but I do have a partner that is familiar with occupying that space. So I think that's very important as an entrepreneur, because you can make a lot of money, but if you don't know how to invest it or what to invest it into, you next thing you know, you start doing it away. So it's very key to kind of, take the money that you do make and find other avenues and to kind of invest in to kind of help you get to those next levels.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to say a word and then you tell me what you think with those words.
Okay. All
right. Leadership.
Commitment.
Okay. Incentive.
Multiply it. And what I mean by that is spread it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peace.
God-given. Yeah.
Stability.
Dedication.
Got it. I like that one. That was good. All right. So one last question, because I have to ask every guest, because like I said, I am a cook. I love to cook. Anybody knows me, they come to the house, they get fed, right? Sure. So I have to ask you, what is your favorite soul food?
I love soul food. So I think for
Do
me,
you?
yeah. I'm just more like with me being in Kentucky, like we always had like the fried chicken.
Okay.
Uh, I love yams. Uh,
Okay.
I do a little bit of mac and cheese.
Oh, you cook mac and cheese.
I I've cooked it maybe twice. I ain't gonna say I'm
Oh,
good.
okay.
Just twice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Green beans,
Mm.
um, baked beans. Um, for me, just that pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so
So
you can whip up something like
you get
that.
a whole. Can I whip up? Yeah, that's nothing. That's
Okay.
nothing. That's nothing. That's light work.
Okay.
That's light work. But okay. Okay. So you gave me the whole
Rose
meal.
too.
So
Hawaiian
you,
rolls.
huh?
Hawaiian rolls too.
Oh, you want some Hawaiian rolls? So no
Yeah.
cornbread.
No cornbread. I love the Hawaiian rolls.
That's funny. I'd rather, that's funny because I'd rather Hawaiian rolls over cornbread too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah. Only time I really need cornbread unless I have some greens
Hmm.
and some potato salad,
Gotcha.
and then that way I can dip my cornbread in my
Cornbread into that.
bread.
Yeah. So what's your favorite dish then? I got to know.
You gotta know. Okay.
I got to know.
Okay, so my favorite dish is honestly, I'm a huge seafood person. So I love seafood.
Okay.
I love Mexican.
Hmm.
But my favorite soul food, I would say, would definitely be I love candy yams. My meal per se would be
Yeah.
candy yams, mac and cheese,
Hmm.
um, red beans and rice with the sausage or what have
Okay.
you. And then I love greens, either fried chicken or smothered pork chops because
Mm.
I really love pork chops. I
Okay.
try not to eat pork much,
Yeah, me too. Me
but
too.
I love me some smothered pork chops with the gravy and the onions.
I know that's fire.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I know that's fire for sure.
so tell the people where they can find you, Chris.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram. It's Chris Hudson underscore JRNY. Life's Journey
Hmm.
CO
Hmm.
is also you can find us and check out the website too. Is www.lifesjourneyclothing.com. And we also have a Facebook page, which is Facebook, and you got the / Life's Journey Clothing. So yeah, those are ways that you can find me, find the brand, or you can catch me out and about. I'm gonna have my mobile truck. Um, hopefully getting it out, hitting the pavement around April. So within the Atlanta area. So yeah,
Okay.
Jimmy, come holler at me.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, saying yes. I really appreciate it.
Definitely.
And all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Check me out next Sunday on Soul Food Sunday, and I will holla at y'all.